How is it going, guys, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 video. And the brand new survival mode update is now available for Steam users on the PC version of Fallout 4, and it was actually released yesterday, but I couldn't get around to streaming it. That was my original plan, to actually live stream it right here on YouTube with you guys in the chat and actually experiencing, with you guys. But unfortunately, I couldn't get around to doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and make you guys this video today. I'm going to go over a bunch of the brand new survival mode details, kind of talk about, what Bethesda have stated about this new update in general. Now, to start things off, this is of course a survival mode beta update that is only available right now on the PC version. And how you actually get into this, if you go ahead and go to your Steam library and you right click on Fallout 4, then go down to properties, then go over to betas and select the survival mode one. This will then of course update your game, and you can now go ahead and play in this brand new survival mode. Now, as for it being released on consoles, there is no definitive actual date for it just yet, but what we do know is that of course it is being released, or has been released, on the PC version, ready to be fine-tuned and kind of perfected. And then of course when it is, it will eventually move on to the consoles then, for you console players to actually go ahead and experience this. Now, this survival mode is going all out. This is a lot different from anything you've ever played in Fallout. This is survival. This is actually what survival is supposed to be in its truest form. Now, Bethesda have actually come out with a huge kind of page over on their website, kind of, detailing everything that has been changed with this survival mode. And starting off, they mention tough choices. At a high level, we wanted to force you into making interesting choices. We did that by bringing more contrasting motivations to Fallout 4, using the type of circular systems you might find in a game like Dark Souls. And basically what they mean by that is two systems that kind of push against each other, and that resulted in four major pillars surrounding the survival mode itself. Number one, we have strategy, intensifying decisions involving when to get into combat versus when to avoid it. This of course is now going to be at an all-time high because you have a bunch more things to actually think about before going into combat. It also makes you think more about what gear to take into combat, and then back up all of the decisions that you make with more faster and brutal fights. So now your decisions of whether or not to avoid the fight or actually go into it is definitely something that you are going to have to think about a lot more in this survival mode. Next up, the next summary point is exploration. Slow down the pace of the game, and of course how they're doing that is with no fast traveling and of course no actual saving unless you save at bed, and encourage players to explore the nooks and crannies of the world. So basically they're trying to slow down the pace of the game and make you explore a lot more, and that is another one of the summary points they are making in the general direction of where they're trying to go with this. Another one is resource management. Balance out items in the world that may be too easy to acquire or hoard, giving players more to consider when planning their current loadout. Some very interesting stuff there. And then the final one is role-playing. Increase the realism of the world and issues that one may face there. So they're trying to make you role-play a little bit more with this survival mode as well, being the four main points there to kind of summarize the direction that they have wanted to go in. Now, they have also stated here as well, here's how these goals are realized with some of the big changes in survival mode. And of course, they have listed pretty much all of the brand new changes that survival mode has now offered. Starting off, they talk about saving with sleep, manual quick saving, and almost all auto saves are now disabled. To save your game, you'll need to find a bed and sleep in it for at least an hour. This means your fallback options are reduced, forcing you to be more concerned about what you are walking into and whether or not you are prepared to handle it. Scouting and gathering information to make this decision can be fun in its own right. So now scouting and pretty much gathering information about where you're going and which fight to jump into is also going to be at an all-time high as well. Something to note about sleep is that there is different types of sleeping bags, or different types of places to sleep, that give you different effects. For instance, sleeping in a sleeping bag will only offer you 3 hours of sleep. That is all you can get from a sleeping bag, whereas going up to the highest kind of quality of beds in your workshop, you can get an endless amount of sleep. There is literally no limit on the amount of sleep that you can get at one of the best beds that you can put down in your workshop, of course in time giving you better sleep and rewarding you with better perks in the long run. So that's definitely something to note down now about the type of beds that you are sleeping in. Of course, the next known thing is that there is no more fast travel. Fast travel is now disabled. If you wish to be somewhere, you'll have to get there the old-fashioned way. In other words, exploration is now mandatory, exposing more of the Commonwealth's secret gems. So No more fast traveling. Of course, this is there to kind of give it more of a survival aspect, but at the same time, it's definitely a huge pain in the ass. It's definitely going to be, situations where you're more than likely going to want to explore the whole place before you leave, and then there's certain places that you'll probably never go back to again after being there the first time. One thing I do want to quickly mention about survival mode is that you don't have to start a new character to play the new survival mode. You can actually go ahead and jump into this with an already played through character. But just be warned, when you change difficulty from very hard to survival mode now, this will then put you into the new one. And if you decide to change back to very hard or decide to go out of survival mode again, you can never go back into it, guys. It's a one-time thing only, and that's just something to note down before you make any decisions about whether or not you do want to jump into this game mode with an already played through character. Now, the next thing they talk about is increased lethality. So basically, you now deal more damage, you also take more damage, and you can also increase the damage even further with a brand new perk known as Adrenaline. And how Adrenaline works is it provides a bonus to your damage output, and it's increased by getting kills. So essentially, every 5 kills increases your Adrenaline rank, adding a 5% bonus damage for up to an extra 50% bonus damage at the max rank of 10. So for every 5 kills, you gain a bonus 5% damage with the Adrenaline perk increasing, once again being the max there, 50% at rank 10. Now, this of course is a great addition. This is a huge kind of bonus, plus 50% of course extra bonus damage. Is definitely going to be a huge help, especially in this brand new survival mode. Now, you may be wondering, well, how does Adrenaline go away? Well, it goes away with sleep. So basically, when you're sleeping, depending on how long you sleep for, it will remove anywhere from 2 to 10 ranks of Adrenaline. So you could lose all of it depending on how long you sleep. So this once again is playing into effect. I mean, maybe you don't want to sleep in a situation because your adrenaline is so high, and it really does play into some of the other kind of decisions that you're going to have to make within this brand new survival mode. The next thing they mention is wellness, exhaustion, hunger, and thirst. You'll find it difficult to survive without taking proper care of yourself. You must stay hydrated, fed, and rested to remain combat ready. Going for extended periods of time without food, water, or a good night's sleep will begin to adversely affect your health, hurting your special stats, adding to your fatigue, lowering your immunity, and eventually even causing physical damage to you. So once again, it's kind of about the roleplay here. Put your actual self in a situation like that, and you have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure that you are definitely fed, hydrated, and all the good stuff to make sure you're definitely combat ready for the next fight that you may go up against. And that's where fatigue comes into play as well. Fatigue is also a brand new feature being brought into this, and it mostly comes from you being tired. So being well rested, of course, will lower that fatigue as much as possible. But both hunger and thirst can also affect it as well. So once again, staying hydrated and fed is also a huge part of fatigue as well. And fatigue basically works like radiation, but it affects your action points instead. And of course, the more fatigue you've built up, the less AP you'll have for actions like sprinting, using VATS, and other things that you may use action points for. The amount of fatigue you've accumulated is displayed in a red bar in the bottom right hand corner on your action points bar, of course, being very similar to that once again to radiation. So some very, very interesting stuff there. One other quick point to mention is that basically you're facing the unknown as well. There is basically going to be no red markers on the map or your compass telling you where enemies are, so you're gonna have to kind of look for yourselves and kind of make sure that you have your back turned look as well, because you don't have any more markers telling you what's going on. So make sure that you keep your eyes peeled at all times, as that is no longer a thing within this new survivor mode. And then the final kind of category they talk about is everything matters. It's not just the big changes that alter the way you play, it's also the small adjustments to the kind of items and conditions that they've also made that hinder the way you play as well. So we've already talked about bed types, that was the first thing they mentioned. Illnesses and antibiotics, there are several different illnesses that can affect you now. The base chance of you getting sick increases as average as your wellness decreases. So of course, keeping yourself well at all times is good. Antibiotics can be crafted, brought, or found, and alongside doctors, they can heal your current illnesses as well. So antibiotics is going to be something very similar to stim packs. This is something that you're going to have to carry around with you now, just in case you get sick. Also, certain creatures or using chems can immediately make you, sick with a certain type of illness as well. So just something to take note of there as well. So just make sure that you are prepared. Make sure that you come prepared with antibiotics on you, just in case you do get sick and do eventually end up needing them. The next thing is that to cleanse your body of rads will come at the cost of making you tired and damaging your immunity, once again damaging your wellness there, and of course making you more prone to being sick. So using things like RadAway are going to make you more prone to being sick now. So once again, basically what they're trying to do with that is to make sure that you use RadAway only if you 100% really need it. And of course, using RadAway now does come at its cost with that in general. And some of the final things to wrap up the video is that your total carry weight has been reduced, and items like ammo and stim packs now have a weight. Bullets and showers have a small amount of weight which varies by caliber, while stuff like missiles and mini nukes are quite heavy. With weight though, we also have painful encumbrance. Exceeding your carry weight reduces your overall wellness, quickly builds fatigue, and will eventually cripple your legs. So essentially, if you're over encumbered now, it will actually affect your health in the long run. So it's something that you definitely need to make sure that you don't end up over encumbered, because eventually it is going to affect your health in the long run. And for the final two things, we have companion costs. Of course, carry weight for companions has been decreased, and they will no longer automatically get back up when down in combat. So don't be too stingy with your stim packs. Make sure you do get them up, and if you don't get them up and you actually leave them, they will be returned home, which basically means you'll have to go there again and walk all the way there to go ahead and get your companion again. So really choosing your companions wisely is going to be huge now, and definitely something that I'm personally going to have to think about when jumping into this new survivor mode. And for the final thing, enemy and loot repopulation. Locations you've cleared will now repopulate with new enemies and loot at a significantly slower rate. So head out into the new world and find new locations. So once again, they're trying to make you explore more with this brand new survivor mode. And that really is pretty much the majority of what's mentioned on this post. This is the majority of the new features added within the new survivor mode. And I personally think this is awesome. This is a whole new take on Fallout. This is a whole new kind of survival game in a sense. I mean, this really is now the definition of survival. It's a whole lot different in the way you play, and I just think it's pretty damn awesome. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comment section down below. As well, I am hosting, or not really just me, there's actually 3 or 4 YouTubers who are now hosting a giveaway, and in this giveaway there's a Fallout 4 season pass for you guys. And also, if you play Call of Duty a lot, because the other YouTubers are Call of Duty based, there is a bunch of COD points that you guys can get your hands on as well within that giveaway. Link down in the description down below on how you can enter that. As always, leave a like if you enjoyed this video today or did find it helpful. Subscribe if you guys are new around, and I'll catch you guys next time with a brand new video. Peace out.
Yeah.